Welcome into WagerTalk TV. Alongside Tony Mejia and Andy Lang, I'm Megan Payton. NFL Week 7, the New York Jets head to Denver to take on the Broncos. And guess what, guys? The Broncos are not in prime time this week. Kickoff at 4:05 p.m. Eastern Time. Broncos a -1 favorite. I got to be honest, I kind of want the Jets to be favorite in this game. By the way, the total at 38, not a surprise there. The Jets, I think we need to be given a little bit more respect to. How about rookie running back Breece Hall, 116 rushing yards. They beat the Packers in Lambeau Field. Quinnen Williams sacked Aaron Rodgers twice. They were putting tons of pressure on that offense. And the Jets are playing complementary football right now. The Broncos, on the other hand, offensively can't seem to get things going. We don't even know if Russell Wilson's going to be playing. We're filming this on Wednesday. Tony, I'll come to you first. What are your thoughts for Jets versus Broncos?
Well, I always say you can't hold grudges in football, and the Browns are trying my patience and testing that theory. Because, look, I was on the Chargers -4 on Monday night, and obviously that didn't work out. But the Broncos are an abomination and continue to be. And I call for Nathaniel Hackett's job on Twitter every time I watch this team. I can't believe that new ownership, because they didn't hire him, hasn't pulled the trigger on that yet. I say you elevate the defensive coordinator because he's doing his job, and then put in an interim guy to run the offense, and then move on from there to the end of the season, ride it out. Obviously, you're stuck with Russell Wilson. You gave him all that money, but he's clearly not flourishing in this system. You're in overtime with an opportunity to win a game against the Chargers, and you're running the ball on first and second down, getting nothing, and then relying on Wilson to go third and long when he couldn't do anything. And since week 1, the coaching has let down the Broncos. It's not just Russell who's been terrible himself. And the Jets are the polar opposite of that. Robert Saleh has done a fantastic job in getting these baby Jets to believe. The defense has really risen up. Personnel-wise, I was hopeful that the Jets defense would have a nice run this year, but you have to see it on the field. They got a lot of vets in the front four. Quinnen Williams, obviously a force, and then you got linebackers, and C.J. Mosley, who've been there before, staying healthy this year, and they're playing really well. And they're road warriors this year, so I would definitely lean Jets. They've beaten the Browns in a comeback fashion, rallied to beat the Steelers, and then the Packers, they completely dominated at Lambeau, like you mentioned, Megan. So, can they handle the altitude? Can they handle 2 weeks in a row on the road? That remains to be seen, but certainly you'd have to give me a better situation than Russell Wilson being coached by Nathaniel Hackett not to take the point and a half. So I'm taking the Jets, and again, we'll do our best not to intentionally root against the Broncos, but again, I'm only human.
The Jets are just so fun to watch. How about Sauce Gardner last week walking out of Lambeau Field with the cheese head? Alan Lazard smacks it right off. Good stuff there. I will say, though, to give the Broncos credit, one thing that was fun to watch was running back Latavius Murray. I know Melvin Gordon was a little bit upset, but Murray had 66 rushing yards. I said this last week. If there was a prop for him, I was going to take the over. So I'm going to be looking a little bit at that. Andy, what are you going to be looking at for Broncos Jets?
Well, as someone that had a Mike Boone over in that game, I did not know it would be the Latavius Murray show, so I was a little jaded about that. For this game, let's talk some unders for the Jets passing game. So let's discover some stats about what the poor wide receivers are dealing with in the 3 Zach Wilson starts. So Corey Davis's game logs: 5 for 74, 2 for 38, 2 for 52. Elijah Moore, 3 for 53, 1 for 11. And Garrett Wilson, 2 for 41, 3 for 27, and 1 for 8. So for his top 3 wide receivers in 3 games, and 2 of these games are against really bad secondary, Zach Wilson has managed to complete 19 passes for 300 yards to his entire wide receiving core. It's pretty bad, and Breece Hall is a big reason for this. He's been incredible, but they are going up against one of the elite, if not the best, secondary in the league, and I'm going to look at Zach Wilson under 1.5 touchdown passes, or maybe some wide receiver props. Denver's allowed only 3 touchdown passes from quarterbacks, and 2 of them have gone to tight ends. So they've allowed 1 touchdown pass to wide receivers all season. I think the unders are the way to go. They're going to try and lean on Breece Hall. They should, but Zach Wilson, his numbers have been low, Up to this point, he's completed 18, 14, and 10 passes, but this is by far the best secondary he's going to face. There's no way you can take overs. This is a low-scoring game. The total is at 38. Wouldn't surprise me if it came in under that total, but for the props, I'm taking unders in the Jets passing game.
At some point, Zach Wilson's numbers are going to have to increase, especially going against a Broncos team that's allowing the 4th fewest points per game. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Tony. Amazing stuff from you both, as always. More from them, as always, on WagerTalk.com. You can find them on Twitter. That's at Mejia Dinero and at Bump Sports. Thank you for being here with us. We've got more previews coming up for NFL Week 7.